be smart about timing your macronutrients.
Yeah.
Your carbs, protein, fats around your training.
Welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're really getting into something fascinating. The Roaming Athlete's Guide to Unbreakable Fitness. This is by the, extreme athlete Ross Edgley. We've got excerpts from the book, some research on his, frankly, incredible achievements, and notes on his whole philosophy. Really trying to understand what this unbreakable fitness idea is all about.
Yeah, and what's so compelling, I think, is how Edgley pulls together a whole decade of research, plus his own experiences setting world records, things like that. And he uses all that to basically show you how you can train for pretty much any challenge.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter where you are or what your starting fitness level is.
Right. So, okay, our mission here is to pull out let's say, the really key insights from all this material. We're linting for those core ideas, maybe some surprising bits that help anyone build up strength, sure, and endurance, but also that crucial mental side, resilience. We'll definitely dig into how he combines different training styles, how he makes nutrition seem, actually simple and maybe even enjoyable, and that whole mental toughness piece. Plus, we want to touch on the lessons he's learned from athletes all over the world, different cultures, and yeah, those world records he set. It really shows how adaptable this stuff can be, whether you're just starting out or you're already pretty experienced.
Absolutely. Quite a holistic view.
Okay, let's get into the real core of it then, this idea of mastering fitness principles instead of just following rigid routines. What's a common mistake or misunderstanding he points out when it comes to mixing strength and endurance? Because, often it feels like you sacrifice one for the other.
That's a really, really good starting point. And it's somewhere he offers, I think, a fresh perspective. Most people think, right, that doing strength and cardio together, concurrent training, kind of holds you back. This idea of a hybrid deficit.
Yeah.
But Edgley, he actually promotes what he calls hybrid sessions. So he designs workouts where you might say do a heavy set of squats and then boom, straight into a short, hard burst on something like an air bike or a sprint. He shows how this isn't just about building raw power or resilience.
It hits both.
Exactly. It's simultaneously improves your lung capacity and your mental grit. It kind of breaks down that idea you have to choose. It's all about making your body ready for, pretty much anything.
That does sound like a pretty big mental shift for a lot of people. Okay, so beyond the physical side, another thing he apparently simplifies is nutrition, which is often so complicated. How does he make that work effectively, especially for someone pushing extreme limits without it feeling like, this super strict, miserable chore?
Yeah, he just cuts through all that complexity. It's actually quite refreshing. He often simplifies it down to what he calls the rule of 3 for fueling, basically. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods first. Stay consistently hydrated, it's huge. And then be smart about timing your macronutrients.
Yeah.
Your carbs, protein, fats around your training and when you need to recover.
So less about counting every single calorie.
Much less about that. It's more about building habits.
Oh.
Good, sustainable habits that just naturally support your performance and help you bounce back.
Yeah.
And that makes it, genuinely usable, whether you're prepping for some massive endurance event or just trying to have more energy day to day.
That simplicity definitely feeds into the whole unbreakable idea, doesn't it? Makes it less daunting. But, being truly unbreakable isn't just the physical stuff. The mental game is enormous. How does Edgley sort of light the way for developing that mental toughness, that psychological strength?
Well, this is where his own story becomes really powerful, I think. He doesn't see mental toughness as something you're just born with. He sees it as a skill. Like building a muscle, basically. Something you train and develop over time. For instance, during that insane swim around Great Britain, what was it, nearly 3,000 kilometers?
Something like that, yeah. Incredible.
He talks about dealing with the pain, the exhaustion, by breaking it down mentally, just focusing on getting through the next 5 minutes, chunking it down. And he really pushes this idea of a growth mindset, believing you can improve your abilities through sheer effort and learning, pushing past limits, not just accepting them.
Wow. Hearing it applied like that in such an extreme situation really makes the concept concrete.
And you mentioned his global perspective earlier. That seems key too. How does he bring in lessons from outside the usual sort of Western fitness bubble? That's definitely one of the standout parts of his approach. He's not just quoting studies from labs. He integrates things he's learned from different cultures, different types of athletes. Like he might talk about how certain long-distance running tribes in Africa train, or maybe some old-school strongman stuff from, say, Iceland.
Ah, okay. So real-world, diverse examples.
Exactly. And those examples combined with his own feats like pulling a car for 24 hours or the Great British Swim, they act as proof, really. They show these aren't just theories, these adaptable principles work out there in the real world, which makes the whole thing feel much more achievable for anyone, from a total beginner to someone already quite advanced.
Which brings us right back to that core theme, adaptability. He keeps saying it doesn't matter where you are, right? Or what gear you have or don't have, you can always train somehow.
Absolutely. That's fundamental. He encourages using your environment. Your hotel room becomes a gym, the park becomes your training ground, maybe you're out in the middle of nowhere. He gives you strategies, bodyweight exercises using rocks or logs, just improvising. It really hammers home the message that fitness isn't stuck inside four walls or dependent on fancy machines.
Yeah, it's about being resourceful.
Totally. Start where you are, use what you've got, and just keep pushing yourself. Keep challenging those limits.
Okay, so let's try and tie this together. What's the big takeaway here for you listening? Our look into the Roaming Athlete's Guide to Unbreakable Fitness seems to show that getting truly unbreakable, well, it isn't about following super strict rules or needing a specific place to train. It's more about understanding and applying these adaptable principles. Drawing on science, yes, but also on diverse cultural wisdom and real-world experience like Ross Edgley does so well.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, what it really points to, I think, is the importance of adopting a growth mindset. Having the courage to just start wherever you happen to be right now. Daring to push beyond what you think your limits are, and ultimately, finding your best self, wherever, whenever. And thinking about all this, it really does bring up a pretty interesting question for you.
Yeah, definitely. Knowing that real fitness, this unbreakable kind, isn't tied to one place or your starting point, and that it's built on these flexible principles and that willingness to grow. What unbreakable challenge, big or small, might you think about tackling next? And maybe more importantly, where and how will you start that journey?
Grab World's Fittest book by Ross Edgley now, on sale for $21.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.